Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roll With It Behind the Rolls, the episode 9 recap. I realized that I wasn't holding my push to talk, so you guys didn't know that I was talking, but I was doing the intro. Today we have Light with us, our wonderful DM. Hello, Light. And we have Mr. Derpy, aka Nix himself. How you guys doing?
So can't complain about that.
You could be, yeah, I feel like it could always be worse. Yeah, but that's both like a really dreadful thing of way of looking at things, but also kind of positive, right? Like, it could be worse.
Could be better. My daughter could not be sick.
Aw.
Aw.
Yeah.
Terrible timing, daughter.
Kids just they love to be sick, huh?
Hey, go lay down.
So today we're gonna be recapping episode 9, which happened a couple of days ago on Sunday.
The rating. Initiating
we are
defense
getting
sequence.
raided by John. Thank you, John. Hello, and welcome, Raiders.
The Raiders are arriving.
We finally made it to the temple, to the water temple, and boy, some things happened here.
Mm-hmm,
but did you die?
No.
So, Light, just to catch us up a little bit, we went through the adventure. We found the island that we were looking for, which ended up being a huge turtle. And after that, after dealing with the voodoo queen and everything, almost losing the egg, getting that back, and having a run-in with a Cthulhu avatar, we made it to the water temple, which is where the captain had, like, that was our first destination, I guess, second if you include the island.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a mission to do here. So as the DM, what was some of the things that we had to do, just so that people know?
So, kind of almost like start back, like few sessions ago. So, as we know that Celestia is wanted, and Warren, aka Brick, picked up a job to go on a ship, a blue ship, particular. And this actually was very good, good timing. So they would have gotten paid. It was, I think, it's like 60 gold in the beginning, and then on return they get another 60 gold. So during this voyage, as M9 has mentioned, and they end up, at this temple. So basically, what the goal is to find 3 things. One is a blue gem, or an orb, blue gem / orb. Another one is a chain, either it's gold, silver, or platinum. And the lastly is an altar with a rune on it. So that's their job in this temple.
And in we go. We were very cautious, I think. For our group, the way that we approached the task, I think it was very responsible for the most part. We were careful, but shit happens. So if we get into some of the shit that happens, Miss Light, do you want to explain to the audience and to me the situation that
Why did you say you?
the situation that you put me under?
Not just you.
Me
Spelsy
and
too.
Spelsy, aka Euphemia. Yeah. First of all,
So,
was
okay.
there any not motivation, inspiration for this?
I'm always inspired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Go on.
always inspired.
Explain yourself, young lady.
So, as they were going through the temple, they did hear a couple voices too before this incident. The two voices they were both female, but they couldn't tell or who they were or anything. But there was a couple words that I will say that's not really in this vocabulary, like the word battery.
Mm-hmm.
As they continued to see, like, if they could find them or anything or any traces of them, um, Magpie did find, like, footprints. Um, One was a particular kind of boot that had, like wavy marks on the bottom. It's not like, like boots. I imagine boots during the fantasy time will be more of a solid, or they might have, like, if it's, like, snow boots, they might have some grooves. But, and here it had, like, swirly or wavy marks, and the other one was more of a high heel stiletto in a water temple. So that could be a question on that.
Irresponsible.
Um, you don't know. Anyway.
Some people like to live dangerously.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people
And
don't respect their
ankle-breaking
ankles. Yeah.
chances.
But, in this area, as they were walking, it's quite dangerous because there's, like, like, a abyss on the bottom. You can't see, it's so dark. It's they're almost in, like, a giant cave kinda situation, which they can see, um, the ocean on top, which kinda is a little weird. Um, so they might think they're in a giant bubble or something, but there's no rails, so they have to really watch where they step. Luckily I didn't say, "Hey, roll me acrobatics," but, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as they continue, uh Minerva, who is, basically a cleric of the twin moons. Her focus is more of Selene, which is the full moon. Um, Between also, I think, Victor also had seen there's a
Hi.
pattern of moons in here. Um, Notice that, I think it was at, one of the doors, he peeked inside in this room, had, um, basically, like, almost like, 3 phases of the moon, if you think about it. It's like the full moon, dark side of the moon, and then in the middle, there was, half white and half black. As they enter in this room, the door closed behind all of them, and the flooring gave way as they are slipping and sliding through this. Victor was definitely trying to help with slow fall, but it was kind of odd, how his magic felt like it didn't work or it worked. Um, and also Magpie was trying to see if she can't get a handle on, like, even try to slow her down. It just felt like some kind of force was just pushing him through. Um, Even though some of these wonderful people, except for one, have, um, they can see in the dark, but you're going through something quite fast, and even, like, your eyes have to kind of, like, blink, trying to figure out where you're at, and to the point where they finally landed. And um, you know, the globes were out and people can now see, um, 2 of their companions who ended up in basically a hole, um, in the flooring with kinda like this glass. And the rest can actually see them in there. During that time, these holes appear and waters begin to pour into this hole that Voren and Euphemia were in.
This hole that eventually started filling up with the water.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine. Just
It's
a little
fine.
bit of water.
Just a bit. We probably
Just
needed a
drink
bath
it.
anyway.
Mhm.
So then the rest of the group is panicking, rightfully so, I guess. There was no answers. They were going up and down the corridors and the halls and trying to figure things out. There was on one end, the other end was like collapsed. On one end there was some interactions. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
So with Minerva, she I think it was like Minerva and Victor were down the hallway,
And myself.
Mm-hmm.
and yourself, while the rest were trying to see if they can't like burst this glass, which actually ended up being like a ripple. Like anytime they did anything was magic or melee, it just didn't do anything. Just kind of like rippled, like a hitting water, basically. And then this hallway, there were a door that had images of the twin goddesses, and Minerva prayed and asked, "What are you telling me?" And eventually, it began to move as she saw. Well, actually, everybody they saw that the twin goddesses looked like they were walking on the ocean, and they see an elemental, and um, the elemental, the water elemental, bowed, and they were talking. They seemed that they were trying to communicate. Not sure if they were talking to them or something else, but eventually, the picture or the image on the door just kind of stopped or vanished.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that this episode focused a lot on Minerva's personal journey, and I mean, rightfully so because of where we were and the things that we were interacting with. But so as DM, how do you think the interactions and I guess the journey that she's going through at this time while her friends are still trapped, um all these visions that she's having, all the things that she's seeing, how do you think that went from your perspective?
I think it went well. Um, it depends on like whatever I say to you guys, or if it's like story dialogue and stuff. It's really up to the player and see what they go. I mean, she could have gone somewhere else with it, and we could see what happens.
Yeah, I'm still actually very curious about in one of the rooms as we continued, but um I'm not gonna get too far ahead of myself. The so the that room or that cell that both Voren and Euphemia were trapped in, uh, it got to the point that it was basically about to drown them,
Hmm.
and Victor is panicking, which is interesting when you think about Victor, the type of person that he is. Part of me, and this is M9, not Voren, part of me thinks that it's still about control with Victor. It's not exactly about the fact that it's his friends. it's about the control. He doesn't like not having control of a situation, and that's been a theme over and over again with Victor. I mean, with all of us in one way or another, but with him, he lets it get the best of him. I think a lot of us remain more cool than he does.
Well, also, with Victor, from my point of view, and I think we kind of talked about it last, is that he's a lord. He hasn't, you know, he hasn't like. I don't think he's really been out on adventures. We got kind of like a taster of it, where he was like, yeah, let's go out and fight some dragons, and that was like episode 2 or something like that. Episode 1.
Yeah. He's like, is this what
And-
adventuring is?
Oh yes, the dragon slaying.
Yes, and now it's like up to now. It's like because even during that time, he was like, oh, the 2 pearl situation, the pearls, like, oh, you know how much that would be? We could sell those, but at the same time, other people were kind of like, this is a temple to a twin goddesses, twins. Not just one, they're twins.
Yeah,
and
but it's
also,
an abandoned temple. It's not the same.
but also you got to think about it. You have somebody who represents.
Right. Yeah.
So it's my question would be to him, even though he's probably not there, or even a thought, is what happens if it ends up being his goddess's temple.
Right. Like, how would he react? And
So we'll see.
I feel like that comment right there just gives me the mindset of this is gonna happen at some point. Not asking for spoilers, just throwing out my thought process.
Yeah,
there.
I know exactly what you mean, Derpy. Because
Especially
light
with-
is sus.
Yeah,
What are you
and
talking about?
especially with Magpie and Vorin both being rogues, is like, bet she's gonna have some nifty stuff we could pocket.
Yeah, I think, and that's. I mean, I said it in character too. I'm like, if she tells me that to like respect, then I will, because the same thing happened with me, right? And it wasn't even a temple; it was just something personal to Warren. And the group respected it, even though that could have probably gotten us some money. But if she's like, then I'm gonna help Victor take that shit.
I still want to see the two of y'all trying to carry one of these giant pearls out.
We probably would not have gotten that thing loose anyway. It would have just been a shit show.
It would have been hilarious, though.
Yeah, it would. Especially because I know how petty light can get.
What do you mean? At 9, be nice.
It is.
You could almost drown again.
Oh,
trying to swim with the big ass
too
pearl.
soon. Too soon. So back to that. We almost drowned, but we didn't. It turned out that this elemental was actually was it the elemental that was keeping us safe, or was he the one that was drowning us in the beginning, like to start with?
I can't tell you.
Oh boy. Now, well, we discovered that an elemental helped us. We'll just say that he helped us.
He, she, it.
Yeah, and we survived. The floor managed to slide open. I mean, floor roof relative to where you are, and we got out of there. And as of that moment, Euphemia and Vorin dealt with it in very different ways.
Now, awkwardly, like, just looking back on it, as my thought process is, with everything that happened through that whole thing for Minerva, I feel like that in itself was the start of the trials. A test of faith, if you will.
Well, that's actually a good way of saying that.
I mean, she did pray and she actually saw more of a
Mhm.
clear image.
Yeah, like if she hadn't prayed, if she hadn't relied on her goddess and her spirituality or religion, then she wouldn't have seen what she did.
Mhm.
So that's pretty cool. So then getting to Euphemia and so Vorin just let out the loudest scream that he could possibly conjure up. He like releasing frustration, releasing anger, releasing fear, and not exactly any way that he could have controlled. It was just he just had to. He just had to. Like it was almost like just saying like fuck, you know, like
Mhm.
like I almost died, or maybe not, but there was nothing I could have done about it. And that shit was crazy.
The sensation of feeling completely powerless.
Yeah, and it was just I think for himself he like it made him feel better. Like just fucking scream. And then that actually also triggered Spelcy's, PTSD, which I mean, let's be honest, at that moment, that's not what Voren's thinking about. And she grabbed onto Victor. I think we were all in that moment looking for like just like something to grab onto, whether it was like reality or like or something physical or like what the fuck just happened. And it was a cool moment for the team. And then we rested for a bit.
Yep. You rest for a bit.
Was there over the table, was there a reason you chose Voren and Euphemia, or was it random?
Oh, there's
Or
reasons.
okay. I was gonna say, or can you not tell us yet?
There's reasons. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Because there's certain situations where like you would probably pick randomly or like roll a dice. So I was just asking.
I will say. Oh, do I want to say this?
I mean, if it's gonna
Nah, I'll keep it
ruin
in my.
anything, yeah.
I'll keep it
No.
in my back pocket. I'll keep it. Probably later date, but I'll keep it.
All right. Before we continue, let's ask one of the fun questions here to everyone. If the party was turned into animals for a session, what
Oh my God.
animal would best fit your character, and why?
Wow.
That's a definitely out there question. So it goes more into part of Nyx's personality background and all that stuff that I rolled the dice for. His would be a wolf. As awkward as it may be. And oh shit, I'm getting a phone call. 1 second.
What do you think for Celeste?
For her, would probably. Oh, that's a good one. What would she be?
Euphemia would be a tuxedo cat. Yeah, because we need more cats in this campaign.
Yes, we do. A lot more. Anyways. I think oddly enough, Celeste will probably be a horse.
A horse. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it's she has basically a load. She has a dragon egg that she carries. And it's just one of those things. Nobody says actually touch her bag, or how heavy it is. They've seen the egg. And these egg, like, imagine like a water barrel. It's like that size.
Okay.
And and she likes to help. So if she could help as much as she can, it's like, a horse can, you know, pull, multiple things,
Very
and,
true. Very true.
so, yep.
And then Vorin wouldn't have to walk.
Lazy.
Apologies.
Insert
about that.
inappropriate writing joke.
Wow.
I've been playing phone tag with my son's pediatric eye specialist.
No, it's okay. Let us know if you have to step away for a second.
Yeah.
For Vorin, I would have to do something sneaky. It would probably have to be like a raccoon or some shit, like
A raccoon?
or like a weasel or a ferret. A ferret, I think, would be kind of cool, especially if I can stay red, like a fire
Oh my
ferret,
God.
like in fucking Cora. But anyway, it would have to be something like that I can kind of sneak around and still do what I need to do. But a raccoon has hands, so convenient.
A raccoon can pick a lock.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Derpy?
For Vorin,
Yeah,
I think a raccoon fits.
yeah, I think it works, right? The dark. He wears the face paint anyway, so it's like,
That's true.
which like one of the reasons that I decided to do the face paint is actually to draw attention to his red eyes. Because like at night or like in a dark alley or whatever, he can probably scare people more by just his eyes being surrounded in darkness. But let me see. Is it too obvious to say bat for Victor?
I actually am gonna have to disagree with you there.
What would you say for Victor?
And this is gonna sound mean and everything, but I was gonna say kitten.
Oh my God.
Dude, I actually kind of
And-
like that too.
Because you got to think about it. Kittens are tiny, and fearless, and think they're way stronger than they are.
I think he would be one of those like mean cats that knocks shit off the counter
Yeah,
just because.
like if we want to go into more specifics. We're talking like Maine Coon kitten. Is well, we're waiting for Neffy to respond. Yeah, tuxedo cats. See, magpie would be a magpie. That's actually fitting. And you guys idiots, it's in the name. All of them. Oh. I mean, I can't think of the type, but honestly, for Minerva, I see her as one of those big dogs that rescues people when they're trapped under snow and stuff.
Oh yeah, I could also see her kind of like as a husky,
I could see that too.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
like a white husky even.
Another cat if it was forced to be a mammal. Well, it does say we were talking any animal, so magpie would fit.
Yeah, that's true. Also, like, God, so many cats.
But no, I definitely see Minerva more as a dog. She kind of gives off that
I do like that.
I'm gonna be there by your side energy.
Yeah, I like that choice. I'm thinking like Ghost from, Game of Thrones. Like ride
Yeah.
or die wolf, like dire wolf. All right. So that was I don't know. I came up with that question. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask that ridiculousness. But so yeah, so then we continued into what was kind of like, I would say kind of like a maze. It wasn't really maze like. It was just a lot of extensions to different rooms and different doors.
Mhm.
It wasn't really meant like a maze for us to get lost. The So we continued there. We There was a lot of um leaps of faith. The baby step of faith. Um just going into rooms, but nothing seemed to be trapped. Which makes sense for a temple, whether if it's just a place of worship, which some of these rooms kind of seem like that, right? They There was no need for like continuous traps or anything, because you wouldn't have really gotten in there or gotten that far without the right ingredients, so to speak.
Mhm.
So we went through, we got the keys, we moved on, and eventually Minerva was put into these situations where she had like, you should we say visions, or there was more to her self-discovery in those rooms. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Okay, so basically in these rooms, it was a trial. Um, a trial to become, a priestess. Um, and or a path to becoming one. And 3 rooms represented the full moon, the dark side of the moon, and the blood room. And she was the one that peered into these uh, water pools, kind of thing. And in each of the water pools revealed something that she is familiar of. 2 of them, she shed a tear, and the last one was more of, questioning, like, "What do you want?" But something triggered uh, it to reveal, the last key for her. So these 3 keys represented each of these of the moons, and um, they got to use them to see what else beyond the other rooms are.
Yeah, and in one of the rooms she found something which I'm honestly, I mean, we were pulling her legs and arms in different directions.
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah.
we were being kind of annoying about the situation, but I thought she would take it,
Mhm.
which is a mace, right?
It was a mace, yeah.
And but this was a special mace. Do you want to tell us about this special mace?
So, 2 of the rooms actually led to, they used the full moon key.
Hi, my name is.
But one of the rooms had a chest in it, and it had the dark side of the moon key to use. So she opened it, and the inside was a mace. The mace looked very old, rusted, and of course, these lovely people. Well, 2 of them were really pulling her leg, of taking it or not taking it, and um, she ended up actually putting it back. Inside.
Did you think she
And
would?
uh oh yeah. I mean, I have to think outside the box.
Right. Hmm.
And if she didn't take it, and if you guys didn't go into that room, then she might not never have seen it.
Hmm.
but she did go in there.
Yeah, I thought she would take it. But then I think we introduced a lot of doubt. So she ended up not doing it. But then, as we moved forward, what's the right word? Was she chosen or given an opportunity? How would you describe it?
It was an opportunity.
Mhm.
As funny, because the whole her putting it back, which you didn't mention in the other room, that actually had the gem/orb in it, and nobody wanted to touch it.
Right.
But ended up he had to touch it because it was also part of the key to open it up to the next room. And in the next room revealed a woman that was kneeling down. And everybody witnessed this. It was just this woman who was kneeling down in the background. You saw the full moon, actually half of the moon, the dark side and the light side, and her cloak even represent half dark, half light. And as she was speaking, she ended up being the high priestess, Ellipsa. She is the first high priestess to the Twin Moons and the first battle healer/warrior. And she offered Minerva to basically almost take the mantle. And at first, Minerva was kind of hesitant. In a way, it felt like she didn't believe in herself until she was asked the question again, and she accepted. And then at this point, the mace came and appeared in this high priestess's hand and handed over to Minerva, which it changed into this just gorgeous item, this mace. And at the moment, this is part of a prestige class called the Twin Moons. So this is her way of becoming a priestess of the Twin Moons.
So this is now the second prestige class that's been achieved, or however else we want to put it. And the first one being Euphemia's spirits of voodoo, or voodoo spirits?
Spirits of voodoo. Yeah, spirits of voodoo.
Which is really cool. It's like a bit of a different specialization in their classes, but it's also very tied to, like, the way that I see it, it's more tied to their person than it is their class. Which I think is really cool. And hello, Sin. So while Sin is here, we asked if if we all were turned into animals for a session, what do you think Victor's animal would be? I said a bat would be too obvious. Derpy said a cat.
Not just a cat, a kitten. A Maine Coon kitten.
Very specific. But what do you think, Victor? I said either like some sort of weasel, ferret, or raccoon for Voren. And we said, Light said a horse for Celeste. Derby, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think has been the wildest or funniest moment that like you didn't see coming during the campaign so far?
Oh God, that's actually a tougher question than one would think. Um,
I'll tell you what, just to butt in and answer for myself, I never saw Nyx cannonballing to stop a ship. Never in my wildest dreams that I think I would.
So I mean, yeah, that was an out there play of my brain just going, I have two options here, and this one seems like it's going to be more entertaining on my end. Uh, Honestly, for me, it's the tension and shenanigans that go on between Victor and Magpie. It's like, you know, it happens. It's like, okay, this is going to be something that's going to be worked out, but it's just kept going. It is always the most awkward things that make me laugh.
I know, there's so much back and forth between them.
And it's not bad.
It's not. Sometimes it's hard to even try to butt in because they're either like both right, you know, perspectively, you know, or it's just like whatever. Like, you two need to sleep together and just get it over with.
Wow.
Just drink her blood and let's get over this tension, okay? But a Persian cat, okay? Yeah.
I don't know. I personally still think Maine Coon. I mean, those cats are so regal looking.
They are regal, very regal. Peacock is a good, yeah. I mean, he does.
Hold on, I need to
peacock.
attract my mate.
Yeah, exactly. He peacocks as often. It's like a peacock showing his lordship papers.
Hold on, I have my lordship papers.
Oh god. All right, so where were we? She ends up getting the maze, and so now she's. Would you say that this is just kind of like the beginning of a new lifestyle for her, or is she more settling into what she's always been or supposed to be?
Maybe a mixture of both. I mean, this is it. Like I said, it's a prestige class, and I'll let you all know when you start getting your prestige classes. It could be from now to whenever. You need to actually kind of start using them for them to actually open up more.
Mm-hmm.
And with Spelsey with her Spirits of Voodoo, and now her Minerva with the Twin Maces, each of them will have something if you use it more often. I'm not saying, hey, use it every day or every time whatever. But if you use it, which I've written stuff for it and, explains it more, we'll see if it goes into the second tier. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm really curious to learn more about that because it's not something that I've ever played with when it comes to DnD. So something new, something exciting, and something that I feel could lead to a lot of cool moments in as far as mechanics like combat or whatever, but also a lot of cool RP moments. And yeah, I feel as a group we could use the text RP stuff too. Yeah, that's probably could. Yeah, like for like reactions and stuff like that, so we're not cutting people off. How do you feel about that as a DM?
Um, you can always write it in the Roll20 so people can actually read it and see it.
Yeah, the log.
Um, mhm. Uh, with me, I would definitely have to, look at it because there might be a moment that something triggers.
Right. Yeah, so I think if it's something that's going to be super important, then it's probably better to just say, "Hey, Warren does this," or Warren does that, instead of just typing it.
Mhm.
But if it's something like gives Victor a quick look, then that's probably something we can just type,
Mhm.
Hello, Neat. I'm gonna call you Neat.
That's Meat. She's good people.
She is.
But I want to call her Neat. Okay, but anyway, so one of the other questions that I had, random questions, was actually this was asked in chat, was like, what our theme songs be? I was thinking about like, what would our theme song be as a group, as a party? But then I'm thinking also Nyx has been doing some cool AI stuff, so we're probably gonna have to have you do like one for like every session. Like we do
Oh,
the
God.
recap, and then you do an AI song for the recap.
I mean, if y'all absolutely want to, I have no issues doing it. I'm actually working on one right now.
Nice. Looking forward to hearing it. But
that actually more centralizes around light.
really cool DM song.
What?
I like it. We need to show
I mean,
appreciation for the DM.
Exactly. And like I said, I turned my character's backstory into a song and it came out awesome. I will share that with the group at some point when I remember to.
Yeah. I can't. I'm horrible at thinking about like songs, especially since most of the songs that I listen to are in Spanish. So it's like I'm not gonna be able to just come up with something.
And I technically did make the group a song.
Yeah, you did. That it was kind of like our. It was more like a group, like an intro. So it is kind of a good theme. Which if you upload that somewhere, I can probably put it in the description for the video.
You missed one person, but it's okay.
Who did we
You're
miss?
right. I didn't list the NPC.
Oh, Celeste.
Mhm.
Apologies, because I didn't know how to spell her fucking name or what class she is.
I don't know. She has not revealed her class. Nobody's asked her.
Nobody knows. She's strong though. That's a strong boy.
Strong boy.
I don't know if she's strong.
No, you don't think so? Shit.
Mm.
For our first fight, she came out of nowhere. I thought she was cleric. I thought she was wizard, but maybe not. Yeah.
I don't know what everybody thinks she is. So far, Sins is cleric,
Cleric would make sense.
and who else?
I'm gonna.
Oh, you said wizard.
No. Initially, I thought she was wizard, but with time, I don't think she is. I think I'm gonna have to say cleric also.
Okay, got
What-
3 clerics.
What do you think, Derby?
See, when we first ran into Celestia, my thought was sorcerer.
Oh, see, okay.
But I just the healing magic and everything else have a guttural, and with how I feel like she definitely can put off more into a physical fight than one would think.
Mm-hmm.
I get the guttural feeling of druid.
Interesting.
So 3 clerics and 1 druid.
Yeah, that was my first thought, Neff. And when because like when I first saw her and like the things she was doing and stuff like that, my initial thought was she reminded me of Gale, but she wasn't stupid and annoying. So so that's why I went.
Gale
that
was a sorcerer.
right. So that's why I went that way.
Speaking of Gale, I
Sure.
found him on Netflix on accident, and I didn't realize I was watching some show, and also I'm like, why does this guy sound so familiar? It's Gale.
Oh my god, that's funny. Gale is fucking haunting you now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else are we missing from the session? That was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, because at the end, the woman disappeared, is now actually inside the mace.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of you all see the altar with the runes on the flooring. So
Yeah, and then it was the cliffhanger.
mhm.
It's okay,
Yeah.
'cause
Go ahead.
thanks to you mentioning that right now for your special song, I went in and added Celestia into it.
For her special song, you need to add cliffhanger. Just have the song end and keep people waiting.
Just like do it and
Go
then
ahead.
cut half the song
Yeah,
off.
just cut it off
Oh my God.
and just release half of it. That is the
Look.
best way.
Look, I ended the session 30 minutes early because I could not fit what's to
Everything that we're
come.
about to
I
do.
get it. I get it. There's always like a natural stopping point, and I understand that. But I think you audibly heard all of our disappointment.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I guess it could have gone longer, but at the same time, it's like it's getting late for some of you guys.
Like, what is that? Is that a hit? Are we done? No.
Yeah.
I almost died today.
I know, and then when you return, it's like it still lingers there above to you.
I love that
I'm not
I
gonna-
generated that picture, and I'm just gonna like randomly send it to you from now on.
Yeah, honestly, the last session I think ended at a good point. I was so out of it. I was so fucking exhausted.
We tend to have those, right? I think a couple back, Light actually messaged me saying you were quiet today, and I was like, I was fucking exhausted. So I just kind of stepped back and let
Part of like tired was part of it, but like every time I would unmute to start to say something, somebody else would jump over me, so I'd just mute back up, and I got to the point where I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna listen today." I was getting flustered.
No, you need to. It's okay to say it. You're a barbarian.
Yep. Yeah, and when like freaking Discord delays are the worst. Like when we're all like pausing for somebody to talk and then we all talk. It's like, damn.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to, be assertive.
Yeah,
Be
but
aggressive.
that's not who I am as a person.
But you're playing a character that's
Yeah,
barbarian.
think about it as part of the game. But
I got it. So now next time somebody's talking over me, Nix is just gonna be like,
Shut the fuck up, it's my turn to talk.
Exactly.
yeah, that kind of seems appropriate. So
with our party of 13 people.
we have, yeah. It's getting with all the NPCs. I'm glad that they didn't meet up with us because there was just gonna be like 20 people on in a narrow path.
I mean, so far there is Belle, who is something that just kind of lingers on Minerva.
Nix is gonna have to recount the party now.
Oh god.
Because when there were like 5 of us there, he told the cat we had 13 people.
I love the fact that we were like that clip is still one of my favorite things because it's like we were genuinely so confused. We were like 13. And like you just kind of did it in character, but you didn't even describe that he didn't know how to count until after. And it was so good. Oh
Yeah.
man.
It was good.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. I did that because of the pure fact that his intelligence is a -1 modifier and his wisdom 0. He's just straight up barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Haha.
but Tish. Sometimes it's just about
Jeez.
what random things you can come up with on the spot that like this is either going to confuse the fuck out of people, make people laugh, or all of the above.
I'm not proud of the fact that that took me like 2 seconds to get why you guys reacted that way.
Although I will say, off of this last episode of our game, what had me at one point just mentally dying was imagining Nyx falling off the cliff and grabbing onto Voron's tail. Because, like, you know, Nyx is he's a fairy. He still weighs 40 pounds. So I'm like, can his tail handle that?
Right. I don't know. It was gonna be painful. But it would have probably been more painful to like fall, you know, or something. So the thing is like Warren's like, hey, if just like grab me by the tail or something if we fall. But it's like I don't like Nyx is probably not gonna be able to like carry Warren. His wings are like a 1-person thing.
I mean, he could increase his size for a bit, but I still don't think that would help very much.
No.
Maybe slow the fall. Nyx becomes a parachute.
Yeah. It's like feather fall with a friend. Oh man. All right. Well, Light, is there anything that you would like to add? Is there a teaser you want to include for next episode?
No teasers. These will have to stay on, Sunday at 6:30 p.m. EST. But I do have a question for Nyx because I asked everybody this.
Uh-huh.
Is there, if you could play any of the NPCs that I have done, which one would be?
Glenn.
Fucking Glenn. I feel like I could also play Glenn pretty well. Like, I would be okay with that. But like, Born is like this fucking guy.
Because I could 100% see me just in the middle of a super serious conversation with the party coming with Glenn. Oh, mon chéri, how are you today?
And I love that Derpy answered that so quickly. He just had it loaded. Glenn.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
There you go. Yeah, he's suave. He hasn't really done it, too much, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I don't remember if you were in chat when we asked this, but we asked like if there was somebody else's shoes that you had to be in for a session, which other player character would you play?
Oh, God.
Because
If
I think
I had to swap shoes.
because Victor Sin actually said that he would like to be Nyx or you he said Magpie just to be on the receiving end. And I thought that was interesting. I said Nyx just to learn a lot more about his backstory, because of how much lore there is with the Feywild and stuff like that. I thought it would be kind of cool.
But that in itself is also a really hard question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I would definitely switch shoes with Victor because Victor is one of those characters. It's like, from a perspective of Nyx, he hates him in a sense because he comes from money.
Mm-hmm.
Nyx is all about pretty much survival off the land.
Yeah, very, very different lifestyles.
So I would definitely love to do something like that, just on the principality of, you know,
Of
trying
it.
to
Yeah, being such an opposition.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
and I think Minerva would be one that I would also, because I don't normally do a whole lot of more of the healer classes unless it's one of those absolute necessities. Nobody else wants to do it, and I just go fuck it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I think Minerva would be cool just to do the religion thing because it's not something that I've ever done before. I mean, I've like RP'd religion in Ark and Conan or whatever, but not in a TTRPG. So it'd be kind of interesting.
It'd be different.
Yeah. Well, Nix, is there anything else that you would like to Derpy, not Nix, that you would like to say or add, or you're streaming, right? You've been streaming pretty often.
I have been. I've been on a bit of a break because brain has been kind of like I just haven't been in the mood.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are actually streaming quite often. Not everyone, but so like for everybody that's in chat, and I'll make a mention of it in the Discord. Pop in your links so that in the description I can put all of our links on there, like whoever's streaming, and so people could check us out if need be.
Yeah, but it's also partially because I've been doing nothing but grinding camos and Call of Duty, and as much fun as that is for people to sit there and watch, I don't think people want to sit there for
Yeah, I see what
3
you
or
mean.
4 hours watching me hide in one spot shooting zombies.
Yeah, I see what you mean. All right. Well,
I tend to try and stream like when I'm on multiplayer,
yeah, because that was exciting content.
and me being absolutely terrible.
Hey, that makes good content. No, it's not just being good at something. Being bad, it's equally as entertaining.
Yeah, and I do actually have songs set up for whenever I load up my stream during my intro, and if I need to take a break and go BRB, it's a different song that one plays on loop though. So
Nice.
I'll probably change those out of every so often. Maybe. I kind of enjoy them.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out and for helping us recap episode 9. I think it'll probably be safe since we've gotten most of the people on and we've chatted and stuff that maybe we do every like 3 episodes recap. What do you think, Light? Or should we continue doing the per episode?
I mean, either or will work. I'm not sure if people do. I mean, I know I've read that people like it, so we can.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to chat over the table, and it's an easy way to catch up. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Light, thank you for being awesome as always.
Thank you.
Derpy, thank you for being on the show.
Oh yeah. Glad I could make it this time.
Yeah, for sure. I know I was starting to get worried. I'm like, I am tagging people, nobody's responding. What's happening?
So when you first tagged people, I was still napping.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
But yeah, last week I was spending time with the wife and completely lost track of it. She's gone back to her potentially having 6-day work week, so any little time I can spend with her, I try and take.
Yeah, of course. Of course. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Like Light said, we are streaming every Sunday. Why am I saying Thursday? Every Sunday night at 6:30 EST, and we are up to session 10. Can you believe it? Session 10 this week.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
But I've created a playlist on YouTube with every single session and every recap if you want to check that out and get caught up. But we would love to see you live if you can make it. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.
Okay.
Yep. Take care. Adios.